Okay, well, thank you very much, Frank. And I think just looking at your official title for a moment, regulatory science touches in so many different areas, and I don't think I've ever seen so many different things linked together to what is something in which you have invested in quite a great deal in the United States. And I think this interlinking of the different disciplines which come together in one way or another under the heading of regulatory science is also reflected in the description of job description of our next speaker, who is Dr. Sitaramaiah Mokkapati from India. And Dr. Mokkapati is the president of the Indian Nanomedicine Society. He is the former Deputy Director General in the Division of Reproductive Health and Nutrition at headquarters in the Indian Council of Medical Research in New Delhi. And I just met him for the first time about over an hour ago, and I think we're going to have a very good presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. In fact, I wanted to briefly introduce this nanomedicine status in India. And after that, I will put some of the issues which I personally feel that audience can also interact with these things. So, next slide, please. Oh, this is. Oh.
And if you want to go back, press this.
Of course, this everybody knows. I am just briefing what is happening in India. This is an overview of nanotechnology in India. In the website also, you can see these things. This is, of course, everybody knows it. What is nanomedicine? These are the views in India about the nanomedicine. And the clinical application for nanomedicine in India also, we have a lot of nanomedicines invading from US and other countries also in India. This is a regulatory issues. Of course, we are dealing regulatory issues. There are so many agencies are involved in this thing. Department of Biotechnology, Department of Science and Technology, Indian Council of Medical Research, and where I was a ex-deputy director general, used to deal these regulatory issues with the drug control authorities in India. Of course, this is once again nanomedicine regulatory scenario. What I am just briefly regulatory challenges, of course, we have facing. These are some of the nanomedicines for which we are already in the market in India, and we want to these regulatory guidelines for nanomedicines. We follow from other countries also, but at the same time, nanomedicine regulation in India, you see how these policies and regulations are coming. So many agencies are coming, but there is you see what is happening in nanomedicine. This is recently invaded in so many countries. There is no nanomedicine agency in every country. What happening, biotechnology departments, Indian Council of Medical Research in India, they come together. Sometimes what is the regulation, how they want to implement these regulations in that country, because we, unlike USA and other countries, we don't have that expertise in India. Sometimes the companies, they have more expertise than regulator. This is what is happening in India. These, of course, are organizations which are working combinedly with these things. And risk assessment on nanomedicine, of course, we have these things, these agencies are involved in these things. And all these things, of course, I am just skipping. Most of the things you get in this website and all these things. Now, you see, this is a part of what is happening in India. But if you come to these things, to me, as a president of Indian Nanomedicine Society, I have what we are dealing with the nanomedicine, that is anthropogenic. That means man-made, engineered particles. And these things we are using because there is nano barriers in our system. Within the cell also, there is a nano barrier system. How to penetrate these nano barrier systems, that is why the nanomedicine has advantage, and it can create more miracles for patient care. But the problem is, these are all engineered particles, man-made particles, engineered, generated. But what about the naturally occurring nanoparticles? Naturally occurring, some of the animals and also these plants, they have naturally occurring. For example, lotus flower, which we worship in India, it has a naturally occurring nanoparticles. In Germany, if you see, lotus technology is invaded in Germany, and they are putting a lot of machinery also with that technology, even to virus infection and bacterial infection. So when we regulate these engineered particles, we should know what exactly these nanoparticles will do if they are naturally occurring, some animals, some plants. Then only this we can understand what exactly this regulation. You see, in India, nanotubes, I don't know, some people may be knowing here, nanotube used as a causal for children when they are born, and when they are marrying, they use nanotubes for eyes and these things. If they are using that nanotubes as a causal in ladies, and also in marriages, they put silver rings on the tips. You know, silver is having particles and all these things. So some of the traditionally mythology says these things are acceptable in some population, but that doesn't mean we are going to straight away say it is safe. When this mythology says these nanoparticles are used for different purposes in the human race in previous years, we should take that toxicology data also for the regulation. This is one thing which we have to, this thing. And another thing is risk and benefits. Risk are more, sometimes benefits are also more. Ethically, if a person in North America, they live 80 years. In Africa, like Africa, South Africa, they live only 40 years. Ethically also, if nanomedicine can help increase the lifespan of people, ethically also it is valid. So we have to see this part of this thing, ethical issues also. This is one thing which we have to consider these things. Another thing which I am telling you, in nanomedicine, we diminish this, we decrease the dose. In Indian medicine of system, Ayurveda and Siddha also, the same the same system they follow. That means this nanomedicine is practiced in India in the traditional medicine. If so, what are the effects they have? This also we have to consider in regulation issue. These are the things which happens in our system, and these are things which perhaps when we formulate regulatory issues, we have to dig this information, extrapolate that information in our regulatory issues. This is what I want to exactly pinpoint this system. Thank you very much.